Welcome back, True Seeker. It is Thursday, and it is October 2nd, 2025. I want to go back and look at one more 33 with Charlie Kirk. I think this one's been overlooked by a lot of people. And again, it just speaks to what a ritual his demise was. I also want to talk about this headline right here. I woke up this morning and I saw this. Business booms 312% after cafe faces backlash for honoring Charlie Kirk. I mean, are you guys kidding me? 312, the Chicago area code, when this guy's from the Chicago area and Trump got 312 electoral college votes and the Pope died on the 312th day of Trump's age. And then we got the first American Pope from the 312. And, of course, Kamala had the DNC in Chicago, and she spoke on Huey P. Newton's death anniversary, who died at 47 when she was trying to become number 47. And that's Oprah's city, where Oprah once upon a time asked Trump way back in 88 if he'd want to be president someday. Of course, Charlie Kirk just died 88 days after his birthday. And it's like how the Pope died at age 88 on the 312th day of Trump's age. And we've been educating about Trump in 88, or at least I have, nonstop since he announced in 2015, where it was an immediate 88 show from day one. And it's crazy. It's a decade later, and still hardly anybody knows about the 88 rituals with Trump, Mar-a-Lago raid on 8/8, and a million other things. But yeah, we'll talk about that. And then also touch a little bit on the synagogue stabbings on Yom Kippur, the day to atone, the most holy of days in the Jewish faith. They got to give you some religious bait. And again, this is how the powers that shouldn't be use religion. Continual wedge to divide everybody. And what's everybody really fighting over when it comes to religion? They're fighting over their ego. My religion's better than yours. My dad's better than yours. You know? Religion's nothing but ego, you guys. And if you can't admit that, it's because it's your ego. And how many religions are in the world? Thousands. You mean to tell me that yours is the only true one just because your parents said so? Because you learned it as a little kid? Well, guess what? Had your parents been born in another part of the world, had you been born in another part of the world, you'd probably be arguing that the different religion that you were a part of was the one true religion. Yeah. Now, before we get into this latest Charlie Kirk 33 thing that I don't think maybe anybody's talked about, I want to redirect you to this podcast I did with the Occult Rejects a couple months back. It might have been just before it was either right before or right after the NFL headquarters shooting, where they said the shooter went to the 33rd floor and killed the Blackstone real estate CEO person. It was right around that time that we did this podcast. I can't remember if it was just before or just after, but yeah, we talked a lot about why 33 is so important to the occult, why it is continually used in rituals, what it's really all about. And a lot of people like this podcast. If you go to my live tab, you got to go to the live tab and you scroll back to where it says 2 months ago. That's as of today. You know, if you're watching this in a month, you might have to scroll back. Let me get the exact date of this real quick. So in case it is the July 30th. It was July 30th. Okay. But yeah. So everybody knows about the 33-hour manhunt. I still remember when Governor Cox was up there telling everybody to stay off social media. It's a cancer. Just listen to the mainstream authorities. We got all the facts. And here's a fact. It took 33 hours to catch the suspect, Tyler James Robinson. You know something I didn't realize about Tyler James Robinson? You know how we talked about how his name equals 106? He's also born on the 106th day of the year. And remember, I speculated that when they broke that, I said, somehow they're probably going to tie this in with the 106th NFL season, which is having a lot of 106 rituals. And the next thing you know, there's a memorial in State Farm Stadium where the State Farm guy came into the day, Patrick Mahomes, with 106 career wins. And it just happened to be 106 days after State Farm Insurance's birthday. I believe that's June 7th. And again, it was founded in Illinois, not far from where Charlie Kirk's from or where the NFL was born, which the NFL was born in Chicago, the 312. But yeah, anyway, just to remind you about the 33s before we get to the new. Well, actually, I got a couple new ones here, actually. I got a couple new 33s here. So I was thinking more about the year Charlie Kirk was born in, and really it was a big year, the year he was born. It was the year that Bill Clinton took office, and if you don't know Bill Clinton, that's not his biological surname. His father was Blythe. If you don't know what happened to Bill Clinton's father, he was found dead in a ditch May 17th, 1946, coming back from Chicago. Now that I think about it, yeah, if you look up the official story, his father was driving back on a business trip from Chicago to Arkansas. Come see his little pregnant wife. Bill Clinton hadn't quite popped out yet. He'd pop out in August, a few months after Dad was found in a ditch. But after Dad died, somehow Mom relocated to New York and married into the most powerful political dynasty out of New York, the Clinton family. And that's actually where Bill Clinton's name comes from. So go figure that the year that Bill Clinton became president, you had the World Trade Center bombing in New York. And don't forget, they said the terrorists messed up. They blamed it on the blind sheik, who's supposedly blind. And I suppose that's the reason he planted the charges upside down. They said the charges were planted upside down, so they blew craters in the ground. And had those explosions gone up, go read the articles from the 93 World Trade Center bombing. There's plenty of them out there that still remain on the internet to this day. Of course, most of us didn't have the internet back in 1993. I don't think anybody did. I remember people getting the internet a few years later, though, when I was in middle school in the mid-90s. First kid at our school who had the internet, just for the record, was named Adam. We used to call him Adam Online for AOL. But anyway, yeah, they said the charges went down, and had they gone up, they would have probably brought down the World Trade Centers. And don't forget the movie Falling Down with Michael Douglas came out the day of the 93 World Trade Center bombing. And if you haven't watched Falling Down in a long time, maybe take the time to go watch Falling Down. Maybe you've never seen the movie, then you should definitely watch it. There's a beautiful scene there where Michael Douglas is just mad at the world, and he goes into a little corner store owned by an Asian man, and he starts blaming this Asian man for inflation. And for some reason, in the middle of this corner store, they have a road sign up right in the center of it that says Corona. Corona, Asian, Trump calling it the China virus. Due to coronavirus, a lot of printing of money, a lot of inflation. Weird. All in 93. And by the way, Wuhan coronavirus and Gematria equals 93. It's like New York, NY's got that 93 connection. But yeah, anyway, Charlie Kirk was born in 93, this year of years. World Trade Center bombing, Waco siege. David Koresh killed at 33. David Koresh, seen as this religious kind of cult leader. Truly an unbelievable story. Can you imagine joining a cult where, a man tells you, welcome to the cult, and just so you know, from now on, I'll be doing... you won't be touching your wife at all. She's all mine, but you're welcome to come into our compound. But I'll be doing all the sexing from here. Again, I suspect that all these things have been total psyops over the years. All of it, because they're all 33. David Koresh, 33. Timothy McVeigh responds, blowing up the federal building by the numbers, put to death at 33, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, anyway, it all goes back to 93, the year Bill Clinton took office. Of course, Clinton's a 33, as we'll get to. But isn't it interesting how, the 93 World Trade Center bombing was a foreshadowing of what happened on September 11th. And every year we've talked nonstop about September 11th on the anniversary, until this turning point where the whole focus became on Charlie Kirk and the manhunt, using the surveillance state apparatus to track down his killer, which apparently failed. Couldn't track down anybody, but Pops found out his son was the supposed shooter, so he just took him into the sheriff's office. And that's probably because there was no shooter, just like there was no crime scene and no ambulance, and somebody was loaded into an SUV just like Chump was after his little hoax on July 13th. And it's sad that, just nobody questions anything. It's like, since when is there a crime scene with no tape? Again, the video has been released of what was going on there after the shooting. How everybody just came and quickly dismantled. Some guy pulling down the camera right behind there right away. Not a cop, not a Fed or anything, just like somebody that worked there. Maybe somebody who worked for the organization that's raked in millions of dollars off the sheeple since it happened. Again, people say, why would they ever do it? Did they not just rake in millions off this? I mean, pretty easy operation. Just rake it up. Rake it up. Anyway, yeah, Charlie Kirk was born exactly 33 weeks from the 93 World Trade Center bombing. And remember, 9/11. The whole plan went into motion in 1968, 33 years before 2001. World Trade Center construction began. 911 made the national emergency dialing code. George W. Bush out of Yale Skull and Bones. 2001, A Space Odyssey came out, a movie about technology overtaking man. I'm pretty sure they used quite a bit of technology on 9/11, including the graphics of the plane supposedly hitting the tower. Because, again, the first graphic messed up. If you've never seen the first graphic, great documentary out there, September Clues. Shows the initial footage that they don't show anymore, where the plane flies all the way through the building, comes out with the nose intact. Not even possible. Not that anything on 9/11 is possible. Planes can't fly at that high a speed at that low of altitude without essentially turning on and catching on fire and disintegrating. I mean, there's a million things wrong with 9/11, but yeah, Charlie Kirk, born exactly 33 weeks from the World Trade Center bombing. And, the Brian or Tyler Robinson being arrested on September 11th, that was 33 days before his birthday, October 14th. And again, you learn gematria, masonry, police, FF, federal secrecy order. They're all 33. Remember, the Masonic Association with 33 is about the human vertebrae, which is made up of 33 bones, and they study the spiritual ascension up to 33 bones of the human vertebrae, which is Kundalini. And for the record, Kundalini equals 58, like Freemasonry, like Rosicrucian, like Secret Society, like TPUSA, like Utah, like Charlie Kirk's father helped build the 58-story Trump Tower that Trump announced from for the 58th election as the apprentice, when the first degree of Freemasonry is the entered apprentice. There's a lot to Waco. I'm going to skip that and just let you know that David Koresh supposedly died at 33. This man needs to be studied if this story is real. Because, I mean, has there ever been a cult leader that pulled off such a feat to get other men to join and bring their wives, and they can't touch their wives anymore? He just gets to have all the fun with all the wives? I mean, this is crazy. This is a real story? That doesn't sound real at all to me. Sounds like a total load of shit. For the record, David Koresh's birthday is August 17th, 17/8, like 178. And from the Waco siege to Charlie Kirk being born was 178 days. That's that Kabbalah number, where this whole thing of letters and numbers comes from, Kabbalah. So I think there's something to that too. We'll let that go for now. Remember, the tree of life, Genesis 3:22 mentions the tree of life, knowing good and evil. Like Kabbalah has the tree of life with 3 pillars and 22 paths, and there's a good half and an evil half. Genesis is another 33 word for the record. And then again, there's Timothy McVeigh, who was put to death at 33, 3 months to the day of 9/11. And he supposedly did that because of what happened at Waco. And all these things were in the time of the Clinton administration. For the record, Bill Clinton's father was found dead in a ditch on the 137th day of the year, which is the 33rd prime number. Gotta love that Timothy McVeigh was born in 68 too, the year of years, just like Muhammad Atta, the lead hijacker, who was 33 years old. Who can remember the 33,000 deleted emails that we heard nonstop about during the 2016 election? The only thing that I was puzzled about was like, how doesn't everybody see the 33s every day? I mean, they've been doing this 33 thing nonstop for all of our lifetimes. Look how ABC News even posted 33 minutes after the hour, and look what day they posted on too. The old Jesuit day. The Jesuits represent the Catholic Church, CC. What is C? It's the third letter. CC, 33. Priest equals 33. Priest class. Jesuit priest responsible for the calendar and the language. Once upon a time, the Catholic Church liked it when people couldn't read so that they could control all the knowledge. People had to take their word for it. They wanted a edge on the underlings. And it's just like Kabbalah too. For Kabbalah, the reason there's so little known about it is because most of it's always been passed down as oral tradition. There's few books on Kabbalah. So Kabbalah was always for the ruling class. By the way, just that plant that Bill Cooper warned about. I haven't even got to the 133 that I'm also going to bring up. But, Bill Cooper, he warned about the plant, Alex Jones. If you never heard what Bill Cooper said about Alex Jones before he died, again, he was shot to death after September 11th. Remember, it's Bill Cooper who actually predicted 9/11 would happen. And it would be blamed on Osama bin Laden. And then Alex Jones shortly after copied Bill Cooper's prediction. And then he acted like it was his own information. And Alex Jones gets a lot of credit for that prediction. Bill Cooper's not here to continue to tell people that Alex Jones is a fraud, taking his work, making things look silly. But yeah, I just want to remind Alex Jones is one of those 33s, and he became popular largely thanks to events like Waco and Oklahoma City, and then especially September 11th. But that's how he began his following with Waco. So he also came out of that same time period. And, next year is going to be 33 years after Alex Jones got in the ring in 93. I wonder what it could mean for him. Is anybody dying from too much bone broth? By the way, this story was out of Salt Lake City just days before the shooting. Funny enough, a man arrested Sunday and accused of stabbing another man in the neck in Pioneer Park. A man stabbed another man in the neck. Neck? Alex Jones, 33, was booked into Salt Lake. I'm looking at this. I'm like, this got to be a psyop. What number do I always teach that they pair with 33? 74, right? Because look what the next paragraph is. Salt Lake police responded to a stabbing at Pioneer Park and found a 74-year-old man. 33, 74. You know what year Alex Jones was born in? If you don't know, he was born in 74. He was born in 74. He has the same birthday as the Vatican. So I thought, how interesting. And what was Alex Jones saying after the PSYOP happened? This is war! When they coded the Civil War all over this whole thing. Puppet Alex Jones coming out saying this is war. Alex Jones, who, a decade ago was very anti-government. The whole thing sold out. Ever since Trump got in there, he's been a big Trump guy. Yeah, I don't think that's an accident. Beware of the bone broth, Alex. For the record, from this, remember the Tyler guards the Masonic Lodge. Tyler Robinson, Mr. 106, born on the 106th day during this whole 106th NFL season, where this all seems to be part of it, ends with Super Bowl 60, like Charlie Kirk equals 60. Same with Donald Trump. 60 weeks from the Trump hoax to the Charlie Kirk. No crime tape, no ambulance debacle. Millions made. But notice it was 147 days later, like Freemasons 147, like conspiracy, like police. In this case, we heard from the police on the news, but they weren't at the scene. They didn't put up any crime tape or anything. Just nothing. And I'll remind you guys that the police are Masonic. The Fraternal Order of Police is a Masonic order. Again, almost every town in America, especially old towns like the one I live in, you can see it. The same building as the police station and the Masonic Lodge. Masonic symbolism in the Fraternal Order of Police's logo. All-seeing eye, the Masonic handshake. And there's Charlie and Trump doing the Masonic handshake. There's Trump and Putin doing the Masonic handshake. And I was actually looking more at the Putin one. I got to look into this. Is there something about who's on top in the shake? Does it signify who has more power? Because Russia's been winning big time. Russia's been winning big time with this whole Russia-Ukraine thing. Russia with the red, white, and blue flag, space race, nuclear arms race, massive continental-wide country just like the U.S. So relevant to the world wars like the U.S. But I just noticed, Putin and Russia have been winning. Things are better for their economy, not for us. I just notice his hand's on top. And then what I just think about in our own country is, you go down to where the best jobs are in America, big tech, highest paying jobs in America. You want a high paying job, you want to work for big tech. You know how many Americans work at big tech? Not very many. There's more Russians working at big tech in America than American citizens. So I know Russia's winning in all kinds of ways, and clearly they have a better education system. And it's funny because I grew up in the 80s. It goes on to this day. I was watching a children's cartoon with my daughter the other day, and the bad characters, the obvious bad guys in the movie, they had Russian accents. I was like, look, this has been doing this our whole lifetime. The bad guys are the Russians, these Russian cartoon characters. They were bears in the cartoon too, and they associate the bear with Russia. But yeah, I look at that and I'm like, I wonder if there's something about whose hand's on top, because no doubt Trump's on top of Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk's a little pawn serving the orange goon. That might have become his ritual sacrifice if they really did off him. You just never know. Wouldn't it be something if he wasn't really shot and they throw him in the SUV and then that's when they actually get rid of him? Now he's in a landfill. Trump relying on those old mob ties from Atlantic City. But yeah, I do want to know something about that Masonic handshake. Is there something about whose hand is on top? Because it would make sense to me why Putin's hand's on top. They're winning. The U.S. is not. Our economy is not doing better. Things are way more expensive here. But here's what I didn't know about. Do you see what Charlie Kirk's 8/8 video was that supposedly has 4.7 million views? His 8/8 video, the best gun debate I've ever had in years. Now, you guys told me that this American Comeback Tour, that was the first stop in Utah. It must not have been, because I see the American Comeback Tour in the backdrop here from this 8/8 gun debate. And 8/8, that's where we started when the thing happened. I pointed out that it happened 88 days after Trump's birthday. And again, I've always been educating about Trump in 88. Keep in mind, this was the anniversary of Trump unveiling his tax plan in 2016. I still remember it like it was yesterday. Trump finally puts out a plan for something days before the election. The tax plan on 8/8, Again, like Trump, like the Republican Party, like Turning Point USA, like Evergreen, Colorado. And again, just all the 88s here. 88 days after Trump's birthday, Charlie Kirk supposedly dead. Then you get the shooting in Evergreen, Colorado at the high school where Trey Parker went to South Park when they'd just done the Charlie Kirk episode, and he graduated from the high school in 88. Then you get his wife as the new CEO. Born in 88 was Erica Kirk. And then you get the Snake Eyes conspiracy, and the guy who played Charles Kirkland was 88 years old at the time of the shooting. And it just goes with the long list of 88s in Trump, including the Pope dying in an 88 ritual connected to Chicago, where Charlie Kirk's from. And that was all about 312, and now you get stories like this. This is the kind of stuff they feed the Republicans. Oh, yeah? See, man, you go against Charlie. We're going to rally the right. We're going to help boost this coffee shop by 312%. That's how you just know it's propaganda by the numbers. All right, I got to wrap this up already. Jeez, I am long-winded, aren't I? Took me that long to make that point. Apologies for being so slow. I'm going to skip down to this, or I'm just going to skip that part. So this synagogue attack in the UK. Today has 57 date numerology. England equals 57 like Jews. Yom Kippur, attacking the Jews' religious structure, the synagogue. But with numerology, England's 30. It's 30 days after their leader's birthday. It's a biblical number, too. And again, they love to divide us over the Bible and religion. That's what it's here for. That's why the authorities use it. They do use it, don't they? Swear in on the Bible. Look at these corrupt leaders swearing in on the Bible. Look at them talking religion to garner the vote of the public. Yes, religion is a tool for the authorities. And if you're part of the religion, it makes you a tool. Now, anyway, notice how Yom Kippur also equals 54, like terrorism, like Jesuit order. When I say 21st century and terrorism, and you can only think of one face, is it not the face of Osama bin Laden? Because I just want to remind people that Osama bin Laden died on the 54th day of being 54 years old. So we were told. They had to wait 11 years. Or excuse me, they had to wait until 2011 to get them. And just for the record, terrorism is 54. Terrorist is 52, like he died on 5/2. And run it in reverse, terrorism 63. They got this ritual synced with 63-year-old Keir Starmer. Should look up and see how many photos he's got to do in the Masonic handshake. Don't forget they put him in on the 5th of July, 5/7, as they would write in the UK. Good day to put in a new leader for England. Yeah. And again, just remember, Art of War, the text credited to Sun Tzu. The only reason anybody knows about that book is because of the Jesuit priest, Father Amiot, who republished it about the same time America was established. A nation that had a lot of French connections at the beginning. The nation that's always been at war. But yeah, Art of War 102. And the reason I have that in the thousands in the Jesuit orders just because that's what CNN had emphasized. Government shutdown is the big emphasized story today on the 275th day of the year. Federal government 275. It looks like it's probably going to run a while, and it is going to have consequences. Where my wife works at a rural medical clinic. They had to furlough a lot of employees today. So she's a little bit worried about what's going to look like at work without some of her help. But what I said to her, I said, Agenda 2030, it says they want to get more people in the cities. So if you shut down funding for places like rural clinics, it's going to make more people go, well, shoot, if I can't get services out here, I might have to relocate to Seattle or Portland. Again, I'm out here in the Pacific Northwest. So, those are both 3-hour drives from here. And again, all these supposed leaders, doesn't matter what political party, they're really serving these big global agendas like Agenda 21, which is now Agenda 2030. And again, that's one of the goals, to get more people in cities. So what else can they do to get more people in cities? Today leaves 90 days left in the year. 5 days from today, what would that be? Be next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, I'll leave 85 days left in the year. If they're going to do it by the numbers, next Tuesday, a voting day, could we get some kind of agreement? But we'll see. Or who knows? Maybe it'll come late tonight. Maybe they'll get it working on the 275th day of the year. But yeah, I saw this headline. I mean, it literally is true. Shutdown-related firings likely to be in the thousands, White House says. I can tell you quite a few just from where my wife works. One little clinic in the middle of Washington State. Now, technically being furloughed is not being fired, but the email that went out to the employees told them that they probably want to start looking for other work or get on unemployment. So it didn't sound too promising for the people who got that information today. Rogue Planet has record growth rate of 6.6 billion tons per second. Holy smokes. All right, I'm not even going to think about that one right now. All right, I gotta get back over on the Patreon. For everybody waiting for the Patreon stream, it'll be starting in just minutes. Thank you again to everyone who hits the like and the share. And until next time, Truth Seeker.